Okay. Okay. So then you do the use Taking Back Sunday, and then from there, where does it go?
Well, I'm still Taking Back Sunday. They're the main band.
Okay, now I have a question about
Yep.
that. So you work for them. Right now, let's say they're not on the road, they're writing a record. Are you in
Yes.
the studio with them still doing your job or no?
Uh, it's that hasn't been brought up, but really, well, I've been with them. This will be the third record I've kind of no, really the second record I've been with them for. Um, so I had a day off actually in the same city they were recording their last record. So I did get to go and hang out and watch
You
them
got a day off from.
from a tour I was on.
Okay, and who were you with on that tour?
Oh man, I think I was with the Used still.
Okay.
Still.
So, quick question. Band not touring, not recording a record. This is just generally speaking.
Yeah.
Is a guitar tech paid during that time, or is it?
It depends on. I don't want to say the size of the band because I guess some bands would pay a retainer if they really wanted that person, or not that. That's the wrong way to put it. I guess some bands, when acts offer you some acts will offer you a contract.
Okay.
For however long. Let's say, for example, like a band will call and say they want to offer you the job for the entire tour cycle, which is 2 years. Some bands will make you sign a contract.
Is that a normal tour cycle? 2 years?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
but
know.
let's just say so.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No. In this example, I think we'll just say 2 years. Sometimes maybe longer.
Okay.
It just depends. But so they'll say, hey, or no, they won't make you sign contracts. Some bands do, some bands don't. Whatever. But they'll say, hey, will you sign on for the next 2 years, 3 years, whatever. And then that's where you start negotiating.
Okay.
Is there going to be a retainer if you want me to stay on? Blah blah blah.
Now, who negotiates this? Are you with a company that kind of hires you out, or
no?
Is it...
It depends. There are people that work for a company that negotiates for you. I'm just solo.
So people just, if they want you, they got to call you. They got to have your number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll get a hold of me somehow, and it's actually funny. It's funny you bring that up. During the pandemic, before everything went into full lockdown, I got an offer to tour with a pretty big band. I won't say their name just because the offer was horrible. But so I get an email and it's like, hey, this is our schedule. We want you to sign on for 2 years. That's why I brought up 2 years. Or actually, no, sorry, correction. 1 year. But this was right in the beginning of 2020. It was 1 month of touring in the States, 1 month of touring in Europe. And then they said various one-offs, which they didn't have confirmed.
Okay.
That's at the very most 3 months of touring for a year to sign on for, but they didn't even offer retainer or anything.
Gotcha.
And I just kind of looked at the email and I just went, what? Because
I need to do something for 9 other months out of the year.
Because they'd reached out and said, hey, are you interested? I go, well, yeah, what's going on? And then they sent me the schedule and I just kind of went,
Gotcha.
yeah, and just didn't write back.
So then you go from the Used, Taking Back Sunday. What's next?
During the time that Taking Back Sunday has had the off times, I got really lucky. I went out with Thrice for a few a few tours. I went out with Tegan and Sara for a little bit.
What's it like though, being on like a Tegan and Sara tour? In the sense of like you're a hardcore guy used to listening to that kind of pop punk, all that stuff music. Then you're on that kind of tour. Is it much different, or is it all kind of the same? It's just music.
Yeah, it's all music. But for me, I was stoked because going into it as a fan.
Oh, okay.
I got to, work for them, and they were super nice, super great tour all around. So it was just, that tour was amazing. It was good vibes. They were super, everybody was awesome.
And how long was this?
It was just a month.
Gotcha.
It was just a month. They were celebrating, they had finished the tour cycle for the last record, and they were celebrating the record, The Con, a 10-year anniversary for The Con. And so I got asked to do that. And then they were taking, what happened was they had taken 2 years off they wanted to work on building their foundation back up, and then slowly write in the process for the next record.
So then Tegan and Sara, and then keep me moving.
Okay. Really, yeah. And then I would go back, Taking Back Sunday. Currently,
how do you juggle that? Like how do you juggle like your work for Taking Back Sunday? Is it just like you have a month off, and then someone hits you, and so you just is it stressful? Is it
not really? Because like I said, they're the band that I will always make time for. But if there's like a month-long tour with somebody else, and Taking Back Sunday has one show with nothing around it, then maybe I'll do the month-long tour.
Gotcha.
Or whatever. And they'll understand. They're always understanding about that. So it's really just, I don't hide it. There, a band will ask me if I'm free, and I'll just be like, well, if it doesn't conflict, send me dates. And if it conflicts, then I'll just say, sorry, I can't do it.
So then Tegan and Sara, then what?
Then back, it's always been Taking Back Sunday. And then currently, before 2020, it was Miley. I started with Miley Cyrus.
How did that come about?
A friend of mine, actually, he was with them. He's been with her whole camp since when Bangers came out. So whenever that came out, because I went to the show to see him in Anaheim. And
what are you thinking? I'm just saying, as you go to do that again, is it all just music? I'm just saying, because this is very different from where you started.
Yeah.
I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying it's just different. What are your thoughts? You're walking into a Miley Cyrus concert that you might soon be working at.
At that time, it wasn't even in my mind that I'd ever be working for somebody of that stature.
Right.
That show was crazy. And of course, we've all talked our shit, but I went to that show, and the show was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was bonkers. It was crazy. It was the Bangers tour. So that's when that record was huge. So that tour was like, if that show was like Willy Wonka on acid.
Okay.
And then, but what's really sold me, because the whole time I was just sitting there going, wow, this is fucking amazing. And then she comes out onto stage, completely black, nothing on stage, because they had like, panels that would come up and come out, and the band would kind of pop up from the bottom here and there. But she came out completely black, dark stage, nothing on stage. It's just a spotlight on her. She sings Wrecking Ball a cappella. And you could hear if there was auto-tune or not.
Right.
There was no auto-tune or anything like that. It was just her singing. And I just sat there, I'm going, wow, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's what sold me. And then, so fast forward to 2020. I mean, my friend that is working for the camp was always calling me going, hey, I might need you to fill in, blah, blah, blah. And then finally in March of 2020, he goes, hey, are you free to fill in for, this one show in Australia? And I did it, but we had to cancel the morning we were leaving because of the lockdown, everything that was happening.
So then what happened to you during the lockdown when nothing was happening? Are you like doing other things or trying to do other things, or are you writing music? Are you like what happens to a guitar tech when his means of being a guitar tech is taken away?
I got really lucky. Because immediately as soon as the lockdown went into hard lockdown, or actually as soon as we had to cancel the Australia trip, I called, because Taking Back Sunday was going to be working on a record, so they didn't have any plans for that year until later in the year, I think October. And so I had already kind of booked myself.
Okay.
For I'd been with it. I had committed to another band, and it worked out with Miley's schedule and this other schedules. But then,
this is in okay.
Yeah. So once everything got canceled, I applied for unemployment, so that helped. I had a friend that actually was building out a studio out of his house, so he paid me to set up all his guitars.
Okay.
So that helped. I started slowly from there. I started just kind of slowly and surely working on guitars. The band was great in helping crew out, raising funds for us.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like they Adam and John, they did a live Instagram performance for us. They raised funds for making a shirt, etc., etc. And then there was a couple foundations that were handing out grants for out of work touring personnel. And then it was enough to I was able to do enough with all that to get by for 2020. And then in 2021 I got a job through a staffing agency for like 4 months.
Okay.
So that was great because the money was killer. The job itself was terrible. And then the touring started again, luckily.
So then,
fortunately.
Was there ever a point of despondency during that where you're just like, this is never going to come back. This is going away. We're never going to be able to have shows again. We're never going to be able to gather again. Or like what kind of kept you going during all that, aside from being busy with the other things?
I was always hopeful. But it's actually funny. So after the job I had worked through the staffing agency, I did those drive-in shows.
Oh yeah.
I worked for a band called Dawes, where they did 3 drive-in shows. And I'll say Dawes, the band, were great, but drive-in shows are the weirdest fucking thing I've ever done.
Why?
For a band like Dawes, it's great because they're vibey, and so but if I can't see a drive-through show for like a punk band or a hardcore band.
Is it because you're detached? You're sitting in your car, you're away from the music?
Yeah, because people are sitting in their designated spots, and instead of a lot of people would cheer and hand clap, but people are honking their horns and bright. But you need that high energy for like a punk show or a hardcore show where you need that crowd participation, you need the dancing, you need
the connection.
Yeah, the connection. And at a drive-through show or a drive-in show, you're just kind of sitting there in your car, honking your horn. It was weird. It was weird. It was great with them, like I said, but I don't think it would be so weird with something, more high energy, I guess.
And so touring starts back up.
Mm-hmm.
You're still with Taking Back Sunday. You're still with Miley Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
And how have things been as far as, how it's kind of like up and down with COVID. So
very up and down.
So do you just take it as it comes? None of this seems like you have kind of blown your top or lost your cool, or...
I have had, a lot of up and down moments. That was more in 2020.
Gotcha.
2020, last year, I started kind of just not meditating, but just really just kind of checking out more. I checked out a lot more just from reality. And
it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, just to gather my own thoughts, because, you know, it was a rough year, 2020, with everything that happened. And
I don't think anybody, like, if I would have told you in 2000, hey, in 20 years from now, this thing's going to happen, and we're going to all kind of not be able to leave our homes. We're not going to be able to go anywhere. We're going to have to wear masks. We're going to kind of get afraid of each other. And we're actually going to, it's going to create a division, and it's going to become very political.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't believe me at all. You'd be like, what are you talking about?
And the division is still getting so bad that it's just like, you know, I'm seeing friends on both sides, and I'm just going, oh my God.
That for me, I think, has been the toughest thing too, is the friends. And it's like people that I really love and care about and respect saying things and doing things. And I'm just like, come on.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, but it's one of these things that I'm just hoping this is something that we can look back on. I don't know when, but look back on it and be like, okay, wow, can you believe? Kind of
laugh about it.
Yeah.
And just be like, remember in 2020 when
everyone lost their mind?
Yeah. Because it's, I mean, you know, and we've seen a lot of friends that aren't with us anymore from it.
Right.
So, and that also had a big effect on me too, just because it was just crazy.